Securing the Capitol with 3 high-profile events over the next few weeks is the top priority for law enforcement right now. What are they doing to keep the nation's capital safe? This morning, it is our pleasure to welcome in the U.S. Capitol Police Chief Thomas Manger for more on this. Chief, when we say you've got your hands full over the next couple of weeks, you're going to need oven mitts for this. Let's bite this off in pieces. Tomorrow is January 6th. Obviously, this is the 4th anniversary of the riot at the Capitol. How seriously are you taking this anniversary and also the job you have to secure the Capitol and make sure the certification goes safely?
Well, we're taking it very seriously. I mean, tomorrow is one of the important pieces of the peaceful transfer of power that goes on. And it was 4 years ago, it was disrupted. It ultimately happened, but it was certainly disrupted, and we're going to make sure that there is no disruption tomorrow.
I was there 4 years ago, and the east front of the Capitol was open. People were allowed to come and go pretty much that day as they wanted on the Capitol grounds. What will people see if they go down there tomorrow, even with this snowstorm?
Well, they will see a lot of law enforcement in and around the Capitol. There is a layered security, so we have fencing around the perimeter of the Capitol grounds, and we have limited the public's access to the building for tomorrow. What's
been the biggest change on how U.S. Capitol Police view these events now versus what we saw 4 years ago?
I think that it's about planning for this kind of event. And we have demonstrations and protests every day on Capitol grounds. And each day we keep track of how many people we expect to be there, what the issues are, where they're going to be, that sort of thing, and ensuring that we have enough people to handle those protests, ensuring that we have the right equipment, that our folks are trained properly, and that we've just put an operational plan in place that will take care of any contingency, be ready for anything that could happen.
You took over as chief in the wake of that riot at the Capitol. One of the things we learned in the subsequent hearings was that there was a breakdown of intelligence, that some areas of law enforcement knew things that were not going up the pipeline to the U.S. Capitol Police. Has that been rectified?
Absolutely. We have, in my view, what is a world-class intelligence bureau now at the Capitol. We've got, not only have we got enough people to do the job, which we didn't have 4 years ago, but we have folks that are deployed in different agencies around the region, so that we've got people embedded with the FBI, with other intelligence agencies, so that the sharing of intelligence, the dissemination of intelligence, all is occurring in the way that it should have been occurring 4 years ago.
One thing that nobody was expecting was that you would have a presidential funeral in the middle of the certification of the election and the inauguration. Now, that's going to present some variables for you from a law enforcement standpoint, because now you're going to have the general public going through the United States Capitol Rotunda to pay the respects to the late President Carter. How much of a disruption and how much planning has gone on into now calculating the fact that you'll have a presidential funeral in the middle of all this?
So it was interesting that there was an announcement about President Carter going into hospice care, which nearly a couple of years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah. And so actually planning started then, because people just assumed that his death could be imminent. So we have a plan in place. First of all, we've done these types of things before, and so we do have a plan in place. How the weather's going to fit in, you know, all those variables. We just need to make sure that we have that the presidential escort into the Capitol, that we have order, while the public, and there'll be probably tens of thousands of people want to come through the Capitol to pay their respects. We have a plan in place to make sure everybody can do that, do it orderly, and do it peacefully.
And then the third part of this is that the inauguration is coming up on January 20th. One big difference from 4 years ago, there is expected to be a full crowd, which there was not 4 years ago, in part due to COVID restrictions as well, too. What should people who are going to be going to the Capitol for the inauguration expect that day?
Well, they should expect hundreds of thousands of people to be there. We've got, we do have a number of groups that are coming to demonstrate that day, but you also have tens of thousands invited guests. So we, again, we'll have layers of security there to ensure that the inauguration goes without disruption. But there's going to be crowds. People are going to need to get there early, and they can expect delays everywhere.
Along these lines, we had an incident at the United States Capitol on Thursday where a man drove a truck up onto a sidewalk. He wanted to park there, but it had created a rightful concern given what had happened in Las Vegas and New Orleans earlier in the week. What is your big concern right now from a security standpoint, and did the events in New Orleans and Vegas alter anything that you already had planned?
You know, they didn't alter our plans because one of the things we know is that probably the most likely threat is going to be that lone wolf. It's going to be that person who has not advertised what they're going to do. It's not a large group that's been planning some kind of disruption. It's that lone person that is coming to disrupt the activity, to do harm somehow. And so a part of the layers of security that we have are to be very observant about what's going on Capitol grounds. And hopefully, if we see something suspicious or something concerning, we'll have a chance to address it while it's further away from what's going on in the Capitol.
And I understand you're going to have police departments from across the country coming into Washington to assist with all of this?
We will have as far away as New York City. Certainly all of our allied agencies in the D.C. area they're there quite frequently helping us with large demonstrations. So that the spirit of cooperation between law enforcement in the Washington, D.C. area, I think, is unparalleled anywhere in this country.
Well, you'll certainly have your hands full over the next couple of weeks. Thomas Manger, the Chief of the United States Capitol Police Department, we thank you so much for joining us live.
Thanks, Tom.